freezing wind screams across the brutal and totally white Arctic landscape today. A young female Arctic wolf named Beta carries a dark and dangerous secret. She is pregnant with 6 tiny pups hidden deep inside her shivering belly. In any other normal animal species, this would be a highly celebrated moment. Why did she hide her own pregnancy from her very own wolf pack? What terrifying biological law forces her to keep this natural maternal instinct secret? And why do other healthy female wolves voluntarily accept completely permanent biological infertility? The brutal truth reveals the darkest survival secret of the entire white north. Only one mother is allowed. The alpha female strictly commands the entire pack using intense, daily physical aggression. Her dominating presence chemically suppresses the natural ovulation cycles of all subordinate females. This extreme psychological stress actually stops the other females from producing any eggs. But young Beta accidentally escaped this invisible chemical control during the mating season. She mated secretly with a young rogue male traveling far outside their territory. Now her stomach is growing larger, and she cannot hide it much longer. The alpha female watches her closely, with sharp and extremely suspicious yellow eyes. If the alpha discovers these secret pups, she will execute them without mercy. The brutal Arctic environment simply cannot provide enough food for 2 separate litters. Beta makes a desperate choice. She slowly backs away from the hunting group during a massive blinding blizzard. The heavy snow quickly erases her footprints before the alpha can track her. She runs alone across the frozen tundra, searching for a safe, hidden location. The temperature drops rapidly while she desperately digs a shallow hole in snow. Her body shakes violently as she finally gives birth to 3 tiny pups. They are completely blind and extremely vulnerable to the brutal -50 degrees. She curls her warm body tightly around them to block the screaming wind. But she knows this temporary frozen snow shelter cannot save them for long. She has no hunting support. A single mother cannot hunt massive prey and keep newborn pups warm simultaneously. If she leaves to hunt food, the freezing cold will kill them instantly. If she stays here in the snow, she will eventually starve to death. The cruel reality of Arctic survival crushes her strong, natural biological maternal instincts. She picks up the largest newborn pup gently inside her warm, trembling mouth. She must return to the pack and face the terrifying wrath of Alpha. It is the only tiny chance her baby has to survive this winter. She walks slowly back toward the ancient den where the main pack sleeps. The alpha female stands at the entrance, staring down at the returning subordinate. Beta drops to her stomach. She crawls forward humbly while exposing her throat in absolute and total submission. She carefully places her single freezing newborn pup directly at the alpha's feet. The alpha female sniffs the tiny crying baby with intense and terrifying focus. This is the absolute climax moment that will determine life or sudden death. The dominant mother could easily crush the tiny skull with one fast bite. Instead, the alpha gently picks up the freezing baby and turns completely around. She carries the subordinate pup deep into the warm safety of the den. This strange adoption seems completely unnatural and heavily contradicts normal wild survival logic. Why would a dominant female choose to adopt her rival's tiny, helpless baby? The answer lies deep inside the biological chemistry of the wolfpack system. The pack is desperately small. An expanding family requires more active hunters to bring down heavy Arctic prey. Raising too many helpless pups will quickly bankrupt their extremely limited food supply. By allowing only one female to breed, the entire pack focuses all their resources. They concentrate maximum hunting energy on raising only the strongest possible future generation. The alpha female now accepts the new pup as her very own child. She adds the small, trembling body to her own litter of 3 newborns. But Beta is not allowed to nurse her own biological puppy anymore. The dominant mother physically blocks the subordinate female from entering the main den. Beta becomes a permanent babysitter. She must hunt tirelessly and bring meat back for the alpha's hungry litter. The psychological transformation of these subordinate females is absolutely fascinating and incredibly heartbreaking. Because they are chemically blocked from mating, they develop an extreme psychological obsession. Their bodies often experience a powerful biological phenomenon known as a phantom pregnancy. Even without carrying babies, their bodies physically prepare to nurture and raise pups. Some subordinate females actually produce natural warm milk to feed the alpha's offspring. They sacrifice their own futures. This incredible biological sacrifice ensures the absolute survival of the entire wolf family. In the harsh Arctic, individualism always leads to sudden and very painful death. The pack operates exactly like a single living, breathing superorganism in the snow. When winter storms bury the landscape under several feet of impenetrable, solid ice, only the most unified families can survive the freezing months of total darkness. The adult wolves gather tightly together around the growing pups to share warmth. Beta watches her own biological child drinking milk from the alpha female's belly. She feels no dangerous jealousy. Her maternal instincts have been completely reprogrammed to serve the supreme pack leader. The young pup will grow up strong and fiercely loyal to the alpha. It will never know the terrifying truth about its birth in the blizzard. The harsh Arctic ecosystem demands absolute perfection and ultimate sacrifice from every wolf. There is absolutely no room for weakness or individual rebellion in this kingdom. Beta accepts her difficult lower rank because it guarantees her a daily meal. If she fights the alpha and loses, she will be banished forever alone. A lone wolf in the Arctic faces an agonizing death by slow starvation. The pack is everything. They hunt large, massive muskoxen, using highly coordinated and incredibly complex tactical movements. Every single wolf must play their specific role perfectly to secure a kill. The subordinate females act as the primary chasers during these dangerous, violent hunts. They risk their lives daily, while the alpha female safely protects the pups. When the massive prey finally falls, the entire pack feeds together in harmony. The alpha eats the best meat while the subordinates eagerly consume the leftovers. They tear off large chunks of heavy meat and swallow them completely whole. They will carry this heavy protein directly back to the hungry growing pups. This cycle of total violent submission ensures their bloodline survives another year. Sometimes the brutal nature requires ultimate cruelty to achieve supreme biological survival success. The beta wolves voluntarily surrender their natural motherly instincts for the greater good. They are the silent, invisible heroes behind every strong, dominant Arctic wolf pack. Without their dedicated milk and meat, the entire family would collapse and die. The alpha female absolutely understands this silent, painful contract between all the mothers. She confidently leads the pack through the endless blinding and freezing white storm. It is a harsh life. But as long as the pups survive, the ancient bloodline continues strong forever. Tomorrow, the dedicated pack will wake up early and hunt massive prey again. The subordinate females will run fast and take the most extremely dangerous risks. They will continuously bleed and sweat for babies that ultimately belong somewhere else. This is the absolute unwritten law of the brutal and frozen white north. Sacrifice your own biological desires, or watch your entire family completely freeze forever. Only closely together can these beautiful ghosts survive another brutally dark Arctic winter.